everyone, hi, thank you for joining me. Come on in. Now, today I'm very excited because I'm going to do a full face-ish of Estee Lauder makeup for you. And I say ish because looking at my collection, I have most things for a full face, Estee Lauder, but I don't have everything. So I'm going to substitute in a few products from a few other brands along the way. But for the most part, we're going to be looking at Estee Lauder makeup products. And Estee Lauder, I feel quite nostalgic about it because it was the first high-end brand that I ever bought from. It was back in 1998, just after I'd got my first job, my first proper job, where, you know, I actually had some disposable income to spend. And I was straight down to the department stores. It was John Lewis at the time. And the lady on the Estee Lauder counter, we just struck up a bit of a friendship, and we just got chatting, and she got to know me, I got to know her, and I got to know a lot of their products. So it's just one of those brands for me that it gives me the warm fuzzies, you know. So let's get started. So I'm going to go in with the old headband. You've seen me do this before if you've watched me before. If you haven't watched me before, hello, I'm Rebecca, welcome to the channel, hope you enjoy it. Now then, I'm going to go straight in with the foundation because I don't often use a primer. I don't feel the need for a primer today. So in terms of foundations from Estee Lauder, the old classic and the one that I bought back in 1998, it was still fairly new, was this one, the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. Classic, love it, have loved it for years. I also have this one, the Futurist Hydra Rescue Foundation. Now this one hasn't been out for as long. This one's only been out in the last couple of years. And I just find now, as I'm getting a bit older, I was like 22 when I first bought this. I'm 47 now, so I'm a bit older. My skin can get a bit drier. And on those days when my skin is feeling a bit drier, this is the one that I reach for. And I really do like it. It's a lovely smoothing foundation. It's got an SPF of 45 as well, so it's lovely for the summer. If you are maybe older than me and you have a more mature skin, I think this would be a really nice one on you as well. But for today, I'm not feeling too dry today. I'm just feeling my usual combination sort of oily T-zone self, so I'm going to go in with this one, with the classic double wear. And I've spoke about this quite a bit on my channel, but I don't think I've ever actually used it in a video. So this is a nice opportunity just for me to show you how I use it. And I do a couple of pumps on my hand. An annoying thing about this foundation though is you do have to buy the pump separately. I think it's about £6 or £7 to buy the pump separately. That is annoying, isn't it? Estee Lauder could throw in a pump for free. Anyway, I've got this in the shade 1N2 Ecru. And it's a pretty good shade match for me actually year round. I don't tan very much in the summer. I might go a tiny little bit darker, but not very much. So I'm just gonna dab this all over my face. And I'm blending it in today with my IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe complexion brush, which is just a really, really nice brush for blending in your foundation. I really like the shape of this head here. It's just a lovely, lovely size and shape. I've done some couple of drugstore makeup videos recently, and Elf actually do a really, really good dupe for this brush. If you are on a budget, I highly recommend that brush by Elf. It's just as nice to use as this one. I don't know if it'll last me as long as this one. I mean, I've had this a good few years now. So I don't know. That's the only thing with the cheaper brushes, isn't it? You don't know how long you'll get out of them. But for now, it's doing a really good job. Okay, so there we go. That's my double wear blended into my skin. Love it. Okay, now then, for concealer, I think if you've seen me before, you know what I'm going to use. It's the new Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Concealer, and I have this in the shade 2C. So I am neutral toned, leaning cool. So I find this is just a perfect shade to brighten that under eye area. And I did a whole dedicated video on this when it first came out, comparing it with the old version and comparing it with some of my other favourite concealers as well. So I'll link it below if you haven't seen it. You might want to go and see what my initial thoughts were on it. So it's got the big, gigantic doe foot applicator. I really like it actually, and it does slant upwards a little bit at the end as well. So you can be really quite precise if you want to be. Put some there now these days. And to blend this in, I'm going to use my MAC, what's this, the 270S. I just really like the shape of the end of this brush. I just love how it is quite firm. You might be wondering why I'm not using the concealer end of this brush. Well, I just find this, it's not as firm, and sometimes depending on what concealer I've used, I like a brush that's got firmer bristles. They're still soft. They're not those sort of really bristly bristles that can feel scratchy. It doesn't feel scratchy at all. But I just like the way it blends in the products. Same again over on this side. And in there too. So, do you have a favourite brand like Estee Lauder for me? I'd say it's in my top 5 brands. One that you feel quite nostalgic about, one that you've got sort of happy memories of when you first got into makeup or something like that. I mean, Estee Lauder wasn't the brand I went to when I first got into makeup. Goodness me, I was a teenager. I couldn't afford Estee Lauder then. You know, I was all about Bourjois and Rimmel back then. Still really good brands. But when I was able to buy from Estee Lauder, that was when I started to feel, you know, like I've made it now. Silly, isn't it? But yeah, I've got Estee Lauder now. Oh dear, what we like when we're young. Anyway, there we are. So that's my foundation and concealer on. Now, I don't have an Estee Lauder powder. So the one I'm going to use today, just to set all of this, is my MAC Blot powder. And this is a really nice pressed powder. What shade have I got this in? Let me have a look. I've got this in medium dark, would you believe? I mean, I'm as pale as they come, and yet I have this in the shade medium dark. I mean, that's not a dark shade, is it, by any stretch of the imagination? So, yeah, colours in cosmetics these days, I think a lot of the companies still need to do better, don't they? If this is classed as medium dark. Anyway. So I'm just going to go in on a fairly small powder brush like this and just set down the middle. Now, if you have a drier skin to me, you might not want to powder this at all. You don't necessarily have to powder the double wear foundation. It does set nicely on its own. But because I am slightly oilier and because it is quite a warm day today, I am going to just powder it a little bit. So there we go. Now, moving on then, I just want to put a bit more dimension back into my face, and I'm going to use a bronzer. Now, I don't have an Estee Lauder bronzer anymore. I used to, but I used it up. And it was the Bronze Goddess, you know, the big pan, the big brown Bronze Goddess bronzer. It was lovely, but I didn't repurchase it because instead I chose to buy the Lancome one, because this had only just come out at the time and it was getting rave reviews on the internet and I wanted to try it. And I use this in the shade 02 Light. So I'm just going to use this today because, as I say, I don't have an Estee Lauder one anymore. I really, really do like this Lancome one, actually. I think I do prefer it to the Bronze Goddess. So let's put this bit in here. If you are cool toned like me as well, this shade 02 is really, really nice. Never goes orange on me, which is lovely. So just under that cheekbone area there. Up into the temple a little bit. And just down the nose. And because I've got quite a high forehead, I like to go up here just into my hairline with bronzer too. If you don't have such a big forehead as me, then you probably won't do that. Okay, nice. Lovely. It's all very luxurious, isn't it, today with these high-end products? Right, what do I want to do next? Oh, blush next. Now, Estee Lauder blushes are some of my favourites on the market. Apart from NARS, I suppose they do some good blushes. These Estee Lauder ones, I think, are absolutely beautiful. I've got 3 of them in different shades, and they're all that lovely sort of silky satin texture. They're not glowy blushes, but they're not matte either. They're just that beautiful in between, a true satin finish, I would call them. And look at this packaging is just gorgeous. And I've got this one here in the shade Alluring Rose. And it's just a gorgeous sort of neutral toned mauvey pink. And if you are like me, sort of neutral to cool toned, this is an absolutely beautiful shade. I'm going to apply some now so you'll get to see. And in these, you get a whopping 7 grams of product. 7 grams, that's huge for a blush. And I'm going to go in with my angled brush, just straight into this lovely blusher, tapping off any excess. And I'm just going to go in with this onto my, just the cheek, just what we used to call the apple of the cheek, and just blend it up and out like this. I mean, look at that. Isn't that a lovely shade? I absolutely love this blusher. I've got it in Sensuous Rose as well, which is a lovely, it's a more neutral, it's not a pink, it's like, how would I describe it? It's like a beige, sort of a browny beige blush, but again, it's got that lovely satiny finish. It's beautiful. I put a bit on the nose as well, just for balance there. Gorgeous. Okay, now let's move on to eyes. Oh, I don't have an eyebrow pencil. I'm just going to go get an eyebrow pencil. Please hold. Hi, so the eyebrow pencil that I've chosen to use today is, I don't have an Estee Lauder one, so I'm using this one by MAC. And MAC is one of the Estee Lauder companies, isn't it? So I guess it's all right. What's this one called? It's the Veluxe Brow Liner. And I've got this in the shade Redhead. Even though I'm not really a redhead, am I? It's sort of, what is it, strawberry blonde? But the tone of this, I think, goes really well with my colouring. So I'm just going to go over my tattooed area here. I did have my brows tattooed last year. But when I'm doing a full face of makeup, I do like to just go over them a little bit. Just sharpen them up a bit. Like that. I don't like to do too much. And then you've got the spoolie on the other end of these pencils. Just brush through. Same again on this side. Yeah. So, yeah, I like these MAC pencils. And Estee Lauder owns quite a few of the other beauty companies, don't they? So MAC, Bobbi Brown, Clinique, Origins, Tom Ford, I believe, and others as well. Yeah, owns quite a lot. Used to own Becca too, which was a favourite of mine, but unfortunately Becca closed down a couple of years ago, sadly. I used to love their highlighters and their bronzers. Oh well. Oh, they own Smashbox as well, don't they? That's another one. We don't get a Smashbox so much here in the UK anymore, but I think you do in America. Right, so that's the eyebrows on. Now then, let's move on to eyeshadow. And for an eyeshadow primer, I really like this Vieve Eye Wand. Is it called an eye wand? Yes, it is. A Vieve Eye Wand, and I use this in the shade Vanilla to prime my eyelids. And it's one of these retractable stick eyeshadows. So I'm just going to go over my lids with this. You can see the shade. It's just a little bit lighter than my natural skin tone, which is ideal for an eyeshadow primer. There we go. This just helps the eyeshadow to go on nice and smooth, and it prevents any creasing through the day. It just gives you a nice amount of longevity as well from the shadows that you are putting on your eyes. Absolutely love it. And because it's quite opaque, it sort of neutralizes any discoloration that you might have on your eyelids. So if you have any veins or anything like that, that's a really good one just to neutralize and give you a blank canvas for your eyeshadows. So I really like that. Now then, in terms of eyeshadows, I do have an Estee Lauder eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Estee Lauder do the best eyeshadows in the world, because they don't. I wouldn't say it's one of their hero products, not like their foundations. This concealer is amazing. You know, Estee Lauder do have their true hero products, and I wouldn't say their eyeshadows are up there. However, they are nice eyeshadows, and the palette I have here, I mean, you get the beautiful compact, it has the mirror, and I've got a little quad here. You get the 2 useless sponge applicators. Let's get rid of those. They're no good to man nor beast or woman. But I have this little quad here in the shade Grey Haze. And they do some of these quads. They do about 4 or 5 of them, I want to say, different colourways. And I bought this, not because I particularly like Estee Lauder eyeshadows, but I bought this because I really wanted a grey eyeshadow palette, and I really liked these colours. There aren't that many grey eyeshadow palettes on the market, I don't think. I mean, I know there are a few. Charlotte Tilbury does one. They're probably, I think Natasha Denona does one as well. But I just wanted a little quad with just some nice grey shadows. I think I was going to an event where I was wearing a black dress, and I just wanted a grey palette for my eyes. So I picked this one up, and I quite like it. I'm going to put some on now and show you so that you can see what you think. And to start with, I'm going to go in with this quite a light shimmery grey shade here on my MAC 217. Hold it up like that so the mirror doesn't blind you. And I'm just going to run this across my lower lid and up into the crease, into the socket there. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with these shadows. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're bad shadows. They're absolutely not. But they wouldn't be the quality of, say, Natasha Denona eyeshadows or anything like that. They're, as I say, they're nice. They're okay. They're, you know, I bought this for the colours more than for the formulas, if that makes sense. Okay, so we've got a nice wash of a sort of quite a light silvery grey shade there. If you have blue eyes, I think this colour scheme will be lovely on you. I like it too on my green eyes. Now then, next I'm going to go into this darker grey here. Again, it's quite a shimmery finish on my flat MAC 239. So into this darker shade here. It's lovely. This is like a dark taupey mushroomy shade. And I like to put this in the outer corner of my lid. Like that. I'm going to blend all this in a minute. But I'm going to take a bit more on this brush. Just place it there in that outer corner. Yeah, I do, having said what I said, I do really like the look that I get from this palette. You just have to work a little bit harder to blend them and things like that than you would with, say, a Natasha Denona. Now, with another clean, fluffy brush, I'm just going to go over and blend all of those colours together. I say all of those colours, these 2 colours, I'm going to just give them a good blend. And just work that up there. Lovely. And over here. Okay. Nice. And then to add a bit of depth, I'm going to go in with my MAC pencil brush into the darkest shade here. This is a more matte shade, so I'm going to put a little bit of that onto my pencil brush and just run it along the outer lash line, along there, just to deepen that up a little bit. There we go. And then same again on the other side. Yeah. A little bit of fallout, But if you are worried about fallout, you could always do your eyeshadow first, couldn't you, before your foundation and all your face products. I didn't do that today, did I? Oh well. I mean, there's not too much fallout. It's not like these shadows are particularly glittery or anything like that. So it's fine. Now, on my angled liner brush, I'm going to go into this mushroomy darker grey shade here with the liner brush and just run that along my outer lower lid a little bit, and again on the other side. Lovely. And I would usually stop there, I'd usually leave it there, but because I want to show you this palette today, I am going to take this highlighty, shimmery, I mean, it is a little bit glittery. I don't like glittery eyeshadows on myself, and this is a little bit glittery, but I can get away with it if I use a small amount on my finger. So I'm just going to use a little bit of this on my finger and just go into the inner corner. It is very impactful and sparkly, which some of you might really like, actually. And same again on the other side. I mean, I would wear this in an evening, this glittery, shimmery, highlighty shade. I just don't think I'd go out in the daytime with it on. What do you think of that? I think we need to do another bit of blending, don't we? So let's just go over this a little bit there. And on the other side. Yeah. See what I mean? So they're not bad shadows, are they? And I love the colours. So they're not my favourite formula of eyeshadows in the world, but I do like this palette and I am going to wear it. I am going to use it up because I quite like the look that I get from it. And that's what makeup's all about, isn't it? Now, in terms of eyeliners, I have two pencil eyeliners from Estee Lauder. One of them is this double wear, Estee Lauder double wear pencil, and it's one of these retractable pencils, and it's got the little thingy on the end where you can blend it in. And this one is in the shade Espresso, and it's a really, really dark brown, like that one. And I also have one of their one of these double wear pencils, but this isn't a retractable one. This is one that you do have to sharpen. And this one is in the shade Aubergine. And I love this. It's like a sort of purpley shade. So I think I'm going to use this one today because I think this purpley shade goes really well with the grey shadows that I've used. So I'm just going to hold my skin so that it doesn't move around. And I'm just going to apply this to my upper lash line. Like this. And I'm going to go underneath and do a bit of tight lining with it as well. There we go, just to make that upper lash line look nice and thick. There, see the difference? Same again on this side. So they go on so easily. They're very creamy, these pencils. I really like them. And underneath. Lovely, I really like that. Okay, now for mascara, this is another one of the categories where I don't have an Estee Lauder version of the product. Although I have used their double wear mascara, which I did like. It's a lengthening mascara and it's a tubing one as well. So if you find that mascaras can smudge and flake on you, and if you like a tubing mascara, that is a good one. But I don't have it. I have used it in the past, but I've used it up. So I'm going to use my current favourite, which is my YSL Lash Clash in the black waterproof. And I just love this. Look, it's got one of those nice big fat ones. And I'm just going to put this on my upper lashes. Not going to go over the bottom lashes today. I just want that nice impact on the top lid there. It's nice and black as well, this mascara is, love it. And on the other side. Yeah, so Estee Lauder, it's been around since 1946. Did you know that? It's the same age as my mother. There we go. Lovely. Okay. Now then, let's move on to lips. And today I have two lip products that I'm going to use. I've got one of their double wear lip liners. I love anything with double wear in the name from Estee Lauder. They just go on really, really nicely. And this particular liner is in the shade Rose. And it's got two ends, so you've got this little brush here to just blend in your lipstick if you want to. I don't tend to use that end very much, if I'm honest. And you've got the pencil itself called Rose, just a lovely neutral rosy pink, which is probably my favourite shade for a lip liner. And I'm just going to line that outer rim of my lips. Just go over that vermilion border, it's called. You know, the little white line that we have on the outer border of our lips. It's called the vermilion border. And as we get a bit older, it can fade, the pigment in it fades, and it can look quite white on some people as they get older. So that's when a lip liner really does come into its own, and it can make a really big difference as to how your lips look and as to how your lipstick goes on and wears through the day. So let's go over this. Not that easy to do this and talk at the same time, you know. Although having had my channel for about 3 months now, nearly 4 months, I'm getting quite well practiced at this. I've done it a few times now. There we go. That's nice, just to give a bit of definition there to my lips. Now for lipstick, I'm going to use one of these. And look how skinny and thin that is. I love this packaging. And this is, the shade is called Out of Time, but I can't remember what the actual lipstick itself is called. So I'm going to need to put my glasses on for this. What's it called? It's one of the Pure Colour Explicit lip colours, and it's in shade 119 Out of Time. And I absolutely love it. It feels so creamy and moisturising on your lips. And it's one of these twist up ones. Let me just put this over that liner and you'll see. Again, it's so creamy. And you could, if you want to wear this without a lip liner as well, it absolutely could. Just throw this in your handbag just for touch-ups through the day. It's really moisturising and hydrating on your lips. It's lovely. And there we have it. That's my full face of Estee Lauder makeup, and I absolutely love it. I feel very sophisticated and glamorous in Estee Lauder makeup. I used to wear the perfume, the Youth Dew perfume. Do you remember it? The brown bottle with the little gold bow in the middle. I used to absolutely love that fragrance. And it was initially brought out as a bath oil, wasn't it? Back in the 1940s when the company first launched. And it's still going. You can still buy it. So lovely. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know, have you used any of these products? Do you like Estee Lauder as a brand? Or if not, what's your favourite nostalgic brand that, you know, you always love their products? I've never had a dud from Estee Lauder. Everything I've ever used, I've been really happy with. So yeah, let me know what you think, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye.